Hi, I'm Madison Mary and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, please don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button down below. Zelda, really? And without further ado, let's get into my newest weekly reading vlog. So I'm really excited to start these again. I know today is going to be super busy. It already is. And it's only Zelda, bro, what are you doing? It's only like midday and I've had a lot of things going on, so I don't know when I'll update you next. Also, my friend is still visiting me until tonight if you saw last week's vlog. Anyway, wanted to come on in between my break because I got a package from ɪɪrsᴛᴏᴏᴅ, and as you guys know, I live in New York City and you are going to hear ambulances every 5 damn seconds, but it's fine. Yeah, anyway, package from them. I bought it in between my last rep period and this rep period, so, you know, I just used regular 10% discount, but I am a rep for them again, so my discount is Princess15 if you want to use that. But I'm really excited to show you what I have in here because I literally, oh my god, I've been dying for this pre-order to come in. You guys, here we go. I'm so excited. So first one is a t-shirt and it says Historical Romance Readers Club on the front. And on the back is this design, as you guys can see. Oh my god, I'm going to live in this. So this is a small. They've recently switched to like this softer style of shirts, and so the smalls are a little bit bigger now, which works really well because like before the mediums were too big and the smalls were too small, but this is like perfection. And then, oh my god, it's so soft on the inside. This is a sweatshirt that is also Historical Romance Readers, and it's like a beautiful lilac color. So it's the exact same design. And I'm going to live in this. Oh my god, like, do you see how fuzzy that is? Like, can you see the fuzziness? Like, that is like beautiful. Best money I have ever spent. I'm definitely trying to be a lot more frugal, like, now that like I have my job and I'm living on my own and stuff, but Hello Lovely Box can just take all my money regardless, so that's that. Oh, I'm gonna go now. I'll either update you again tonight or most likely tomorrow, depending on how things go. I'm just, a lot of things going on at the moment. So, yes, happy Tuesday. It's the second week that I'm working my job. You get what I'm trying to say. Anyway, yesterday was really busy. I'm also like a super sore shoulder, and I think it's just because of the way that I sit like at the desk all day with like a mouse and like copying and pasting like stuff from Excel spreadsheets. I think I've just like, I don't know, something's not working and I gotta figure out like what's going on with that. But as you can see, I look very sexy at the moment. Anyway, I'm starting a new book tonight, and that is going to be Twisted Games by Huang. By the time you see this, I'm guessing the book is going to be out, but I'm reading it prior because I'm on her ARC team. But she had the book Twisted Love, which came out earlier this year, which I loved so much. And this sequel, they're all adult romances. The sequel is a princess and bodyguard romance. So I really do dig her books. I'm super excited to see how this second one fares. Hello, okay, so I'm 34% into the book. I want to do a quick update because I'm about to go to bed. It's like almost midnight and I told myself I'd go to bed before midnight tonight because I've been staying up until 1 in the morning and then I wake up super early for work and it's not working for me, okay? It's not working for me, so I need to go to bed early. I also, like, I'm feeling very self-conscious at the moment. I don't know why I'm, like, not that happy with how I'm looking at the moment, but it's fine. Anyway, insecurities aside, loving the book, loving it so much. So this is the second in a series. It's, you know, like I said, the Twisted series. Twisted Love is first, Twisted Game is second. You know, you're following, you know, this couple that you'd kind of met in the first book. Although I wouldn't call them a couple because, like, they're still not together or anything. You know. Anyway, but I also want to say that because the end of the first book, the last, like, 20% features a lot of different time jumps and stuff, and you get to see what these characters were going through during that last 20% from their POV for the first like 35% of this book. So I do think you need to read them in order. Like you won't lose too much, but you will be spoiled for the first book though if you do read the second one. But definitely loving it so much. It's been really interesting to see because it's a huge slow burn between Bridget and Reese. Bridget is, you know, the princess. She's the prince of like a small European country. Her brother is like the crown prince. And you know, her bodyguard is one that's, you know, brand new at the beginning, and you know, they don't get along at all at first. He's like an ex-Navy SEAL. He does everything by the book, and she's like, look, I've been doing this for years. America's relatively safe to me. You don't need to be like all nuts about everything. And so they butt heads a lot in the beginning, and I really love their banter because she's someone who's normally so sweet and nice, but he just like really gets under her skin, and like he initially like has this instant attraction to her, and she like doesn't have it for like a hot second. Like it takes a while for her to be like, oh shit, I'm having feelings for him. And this is a no-no zone. And so I really love that. And it's a true slow burn because, you know, it takes a while now before like anything, come on, it's midnight, please. New York. It's like anything to happen, like I'm 35% in and we still haven't like gotten anything yet, but like that angst and the tension has just, it's been brewing like a cup of coffee in the morning. It's there. And I'm so excited because when I finally get to taste that cup of coffee, it's gonna be so good. I'm just a huge fan of the whole fact of like her being a princess, and now that we're gonna see her, the whole premise of this is the fact like her brother abdicates the throne, and so she has to now be the queen, and she never wanted to do that. It was like never what she wanted to be in the first place, and so now we're gonna see like what that's gonna be like, and so it's gonna be like him, my guess is he's gonna stay on as her bodyguard, and it's gonna be like queen bodyguard romance. Oh, which is even sexier. I already know what the twist is going to be. I'm not going to say anything here because like that's just going to be a spoiler, but I do know what it is going to be because there are like certain things that are going to stand in their way, and I know something that's definitely going to happen, but I'm okay with that. Like I don't mind that I figured that out because like that's not like a huge part of like the reason why I'm reading this book. Yeah, I'm going to go to bed. I blew through that 35% really quickly, and I highlighted like a bunch of the arc. I don't get to like actually keep the highlights because Kindle sucks like that, but I did highlight a crap ton of their banter, and just like their mutual pining is so great. Love mutual pining. So I will catch you guys up tomorrow, let you know how work is going. It's definitely feeling a lot busier, a little bit stressful, but you know, it's okay. I'll catch you guys. Bye. So I made a nice big 2 cups of rice. Yes, I do eat a whole 2 cups of rice. Come at me. And then in here, oh god, look at that steam. We have like sauteed curried veggies. So very yummy. Looking forward to this dish right now. I'm gonna eat it while watching the newest episode of Love Island. If you watch Love Island US, let me know because I love it. Hello from, well, my bathroom. I'm so sick of filming in my living room with the shitty yellow lightings. I was like, we're just gonna film in my bathroom tonight. So anyway, it's midnight. I just finished editing my video for today. I also finished the book. I'm also extremely shining, so that's wonderful as well. Gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I really did love the ending. I loved how everything wrapped up. I didn't think that it was like over the top or dramatic. I adored all the characters. They all really grew on me. Andreas especially was someone who I was like, I don't like you in the beginning. And then I was like, by the end, oh my god, I really love you. She also put in so many hints for the next 2 books. Stella's romance, and then Jules and Josh, who have been prominent since book 1. Josh was book 1's heroine's older brother, and Jules is book 1's heroine's best friend. So it's a best friend's brother romance, but it's also enemies to lovers because they hate each other. Super, super excited for that. I actually really ended up loving it. I thought it was like just the right amount of steam. It wasn't like too over the top, too like, wow, too much is happening. I really enjoyed it. Just the right amount of like dirty talk, a really good slow burn between the 2 of them as well. So, you know, overall, it was a solid 5 star. It was super enjoyable. Anyway, okay, I'm gonna go 9/8. Bye. Yes, we are in the bathroom again. Why? Because it has the best lighting, okay? I don't know what to tell you guys. Anyway, I started She Who Became the Sun tonight. I read for like an hour and a half and I only got 75 pages in. I was just falling asleep. I think I'm just super tired and reading a really dense adult high fantasy. I don't really know if I'd actually call this a high fantasy. I think it's just a regular fantasy. Which is not the best choice right now, so I'm actually just gonna head to bed because I'm knackered as all hell. I am enjoying it. It's just I can't even remember the last time I picked up an adult fantasy book. So It's definitely like gonna take me a hot second to just get into it because I'm not used to reading something so dense. So this is set during the 1300s when the Mongolian Empire is overtaken by the Ming Dynasty. So basically it's about this girl who ends up pretending to be a boy after like her brother dies. She ends up taking his place and then going to the monastery instead to study there in his place because they're currently dying of like famine and drought and everything. Like the first couple of chapters are super depressing because she is just treated awfully because, you know, normally they don't keep daughters during this time, but she was kept because she could actually find food for everyone, but she was treated like shit. And then when her entire family died, she was like, well, I'm destined for greatness, even though they say that I'm not, even though a fortune teller said that I'm destined for nothing. I'm going to find a way to do this. I will take my brother's fate now that he is dead and I will rise to greatness instead. So currently she's just been living at this monastery pretending to be a boy for years. And it's just written in a very interesting way. I don't even think it's like, I don't even want to call it like third person, but it is third person. It's like, it's always like the girl this, the girl that, you know, the girl is our main character. So it's just very interesting. There is like a paranormal kind of aspect to this and the fact that she can see ghosts and that kind of stuff, but I'm curious to see like kind of where more of the fantasy aspect is going to come from other than that. But yes, that is it. Short update. Hello. Okay, so I have no updates like right now, but I did want to say that I did some self-care today. Got my nails done. Ta-da! This is the first time I've gotten them done since before I moved. So it had been like 5, almost 6 weeks, which is like not a good thing to do. They say to go every 3 weeks. I tend to go every 4 weeks, and I was just like, I had to keep pushing it off. Oh, by the way, I mean, obviously I'm gonna do an apartment tour eventually, but that's Steven. Say hello to Steven. Okay, I'm gonna do a proper update in like a little bit because I need to go grab a bagel for lunch and yada yada yada. But I wanted to come here super quick because there is a freaking character in this book, okay? There's a character and he's a dumbass. He's a dumbass. He's an entitled, arrogant dumbass, okay? And he is alive still. I'm halfway through this book and he is still alive. I don't understand how this man hasn't been murked off yet. I don't understand it. He's such a frustrating character. I really hope he dies by the end of this book or else I'm gonna be really pissed. If you read this book, you will know exactly who I'm talking about. I have no doubt in the world that if you have read this book, you don't like, you know who I'm talking about. By the way, I'm really enjoying it. So I'm gonna keep reading a little bit more, go out and grab a bagel, chill for a little bit, come back and then update you. Okay, so I am 60% into She Who Became the Sun and I'm really enjoying it. I think that the reason why I was struggling at the beginning is A, because it's been a while since I've read a adult fantasy, let alone an adult historical fantasy. I am someone who definitely does struggle with historical fantasies from time to time, just depending on how dense the historical aspects are. But I'm also enjoying it a lot more now because as I've read more of it and as I'm reading it today especially, I have more brain power to focus on it. I think that starting an adult fantasy book on a night after I've been working 4 days straight from basically like 8:30 in the morning to 6:30 at night, my brain can't really comprehend that. So I think that if I would do this again in the future, I would definitely start these books like on a weekend. But this is a really cool world. And like I said, it is historical fantasy. So there is a lot of historical elements to it. There's a lot that I feel like I'm learning about everything. So in the first third, we're following just Zhu. I forget what her actual name was in the beginning because within the first like 10% of the book, she assumes her brother's identity after her brother passes away. And she's like, to survive in this world, I must assume his identity. Why should I, as a woman, be relegated to basically die eventually and be nothing when I can take on my brother's identity and achieve his fate of greatness? So she has been basically living as her brother since she was like 11 years old, all through the monastery, and now that she's with the rebellion. So it's really interesting to see her as a character because she has so wholly assumed this identity of being male, but she is still a woman and she knows that about herself. And she's also quite confused as to what she identifies as, and that's what makes her genderqueer, is she's neither female nor male. She doesn't really view herself as either or, depending, and it just depends on what's going on at the time as to how she feels and what she's identifying as. And it's a really interesting exploration of that identity. At the same time, we have another POV. After around about a third of the book, you start following multiple different point of views. I would say not multiple, probably like 4 or 5 different POVs. There are 2 that really stand out, and that's Zhu, and then the other one is Ouyang. And Ouyang's the other genderqueer character. He is from the Empire and is a soldier for the Empire, specifically under the main prince. And he is a eunuch. He is someone who came from a family that was originally obliterated and murdered, and so he actually has a lot of shame, built up resentment inside of him. A lot of internalized homophobia to an extent as well, very genderqueer. But then we have another couple characters. We have ɪᴛ, who is another prince to do with Ouyang's storyline, and that's kind of where the Song of Achilles aspect of this comes in, is because of that kind of weird, not really romance, but there's this like romantic sub-tension between them that like neither of them are ever going to act on. Hopefully they will, because you can tell that they're clearly like, you know, got a thing for one another, but they refuse to acknowledge any part of that. And then the other 4th character is Ma, and she is in the rebellion currently, and she's the one who's kind of having feelings now towards Zhu, who is, you know, Zhu is genderqueer, she's a female. There's a whole like kind of weird sapphic, kind of not so sapphic thing going on between the 2 of them as well. But I would say that I would actually relate this book more towards like the Poppy War, because this is a very brutal world. There is, you know, mentions of, you know, slaves and concubines and rapings and murdering and, you know, very much gory violence. There's starvation and famine. The entire first quarter of this book is Zhu living in intense starvation, intense famine, immense filth, and just like gross stuff. A lot of foul language is used in this book. I do want to say, if you are not a fan of the word "see you next Tuesday," maybe don't read this book, because it is mentioned a lot. As an Australian, I don't really care, but I know there are some people out there who are like, oh, that word's being used, I could never. So a little FYI. Before I continue going to go read it, I'm going to give you guys a quick quote that I wanted to mention to do with the genderqueer aspect of it. That being said, now that I think about it, I know I mentioned before there's a whole paranormal ghost aspect to this book. It's just there. Nothing is being explained. Zhu can see these ghosts, and we haven't learned anything more from it, and I'm so confused. I'm so confused. Why do we have ghosts? Like, I don't get it. Okay, so this is Ma as she sees Zhu, because, you know, Zhu is genderqueer. She goes, "She looked at the person standing before her in a body like her own. She saw someone who seemed neither female nor male, but another substance entirely, someone wholly and powerfully of its own kind, the promise of difference made real." And so one of the things that Shelley Parker-Chan has talked about is the fact this really embodies their own genderqueer, gender fluid identity search that they had themselves. And so I just think it's really awesome. So I'm going to continue reading it. I'll probably update you all once I have finished it. And yes. Yeah, I finished the book. I am giving it a solid 4 out of 5 stars. It might bump up depending on like how long lasting it is with me, but it's kind of funny. There were like a lot of things that happened towards the end that actually I was laughing about. There's just some really good banter between some of our characters, and you know, it's such an interesting book to see this different take on the rise of the Ming Dynasty and the fall of the Mongolian Empire during this time. And I don't know, like, there definitely is like the romance between Zhu and Ma definitely does like become more prominent towards the end of this book, and the Song of Achilles aspect of this book definitely becomes more prominent towards the end of the book. But overall, I do want to say that like it's a really great book, but I do have some trigger warnings in it for people who do have some content that they're not that comfortable with. So there is content warnings in this for dysphoria, pre-existing non-consensual castration, misgendering, internalized homophobia, life-altering injury, ableist language, non-graphic depictions of death by torture, major character deaths, off-screen murder of a child, scenes depicting extreme hunger and starvation, and graphic depiction of a person burning to death. I didn't think it was that graphic. I'm sitting here being like, was the person burning to death that bad? No, I've read worse. I've read worse depictions of people burning to death, and I did enjoy it. I think the way that everything went was really great, and I would recommend it if this is a book that you were interested in. I would say, yeah, go for it. You know, it's definitely the way that the characters were, that this journey was definitely one that I really did enjoy. I could see this kind of being one of those like really cool, like, historical Asian films that, like, my dad loves to watch. I could totally see this being turned into something like that. It was just really cool. That's all I can explain it as. It was just a really awesome book, and it was just something that was unlike a lot of things that I've read before. Like, I haven't read anything like this, and it was just really unique and an awesome take on everything, and it was just really beautifully written, and this is a debut. I would never, ever in a million years have guessed that this was a debut. What the frick, dudes? If you did enjoy this video, please hit the like button down below. If you want to see more of me, please subscribe to my channel. And until next time, thanks a bunch, everyone. Bye-bye.